A question that I'm often asked by ladies is how to grieve, especially grieving the loss of a loved one, someone that you've lost from your life. And if you've watched episode 11 of season 3 of Honesty Talk, you'll know that we mentioned that grief is not just in relation to people that we lose or even items that we lose. We can and do grieve the loss of ideas, the loss of concepts, the loss of love, and also the loss of something we never even got. Now, this part there is a part that people just like, how can I lose something I didn't have, right? Maybe not in that accent, but how can I lose something that I didn't have? I didn't have this, so how did I lose it? But it's that thing of feeling that we wanted it and we didn't get it. And they're feeling a sense of loss from not having had it. So affection from parents, love from loved ones, growing up, a relationship that you had gone into, a marriage that you'd gone into that went pear-shaped and you didn't get what you deeply desired from it. These are also things that we can grieve. And I have recently learned in several relationships, but also several elements of my life, both personal and in relation to the work that I do, that loss, the feeling of loss and the feeling of grief can hit you in the most unexpected ways, but often that we don't even recognize that this is something that I feel grief about. I need to grieve this. And it's only when I have found when someone else says it that you recognize, oh snap, yeah, that is that feeling that I'm feeling. I knew it was something that felt like sadness, but it wasn't quite sadness, and it was grief. So you're still wondering, okay, so how do I deal with grief? How do I handle grief? How do I grieve, LaYinka? And as I mentioned, there is no how to, but there are some key elements, and I'll share those key elements with you. The very first key element when it comes to grieving any kind of loss, the loss of a person, the loss of love, the loss of what you didn't even receive, is to first recognize that there is something to grieve. That's the first thing, to recognize that there is something to grieve and to become acutely aware of what that is. Grieving the loss of a loved one, grieving the loss of what they meant to you and the ability to be able to talk to them, grieving the absence of your mum's emotional support as a child, grief of your father seeing you and valuing you as a child, grief of that marriage you entered into where you weren't cherished and you weren't valued and instead you were treated like trash, grief of the loss of that opportunity to go to that university because your grades fell short, grief, and recognizing that there is something to grieve, even something as you have made a poor judgment in regards to a relationship or an idea or something that you wanted to go for and you made a poor judgment, grieving that, like grief can enter into that, the loss of hope, the loss of opportunity, the loss. So that's the first thing that I would say that is really core and crucial, is to first recognize what it is that you are grieving, what it is that that you're feeling grief about, and to also accept the finality of it, as in you didn't get that love as a child from your parent, from your mom, from your dad, from your caregiver. And the way you needed it then in childhood, you're probably not going to get it now. And to come to a feeling of finality with that, recognizing the person you've lost, the ideas you've lost, the things that you didn't get, but accepting the finality. This is so crucial because so many, especially in relation to other people, so many of us still lament, but I wanted that, but I yearn from that, but I still yearn for it, but also you're not that little girl anymore. You're not that little girl anymore. And that time has definitely passed. Yes, there are other things that you can do now in terms of reparenting and things like that, but there is a finality to that and accepting that, right? And also, I feel one of the things when it comes to loss and grief is the lack of expression. And so expressing to the self that we have lost this, and in and amongst this expression to yourself that you've lost it, also expressing to yourself that you as a human being, you're still whole, you're still worthy, you're still of value despite that thing you lost, despite that person you lost, despite that thing that you never received. This, again, is a crucial piece because I see so many people, so many women that I speak with, that I work with, feeling my mother didn't give me love as a child, so there's something deficient in me. I didn't get that thing that I wanted from that relationship. There's something broken in me. And our work is to accept that, okay, I didn't get that, I lost that, and I'm still whole. I'm still of value. I'm still worthy. I'm still deserving of good, despite what's missing and despite what's no longer there. That can be so powerful to the unconscious mind. That can be so powerful to your sense of self, where you can say, okay, despite all of this, I'm still myself and I'm still whole. But in the process of grief, as we are expressing and as you're expressing, to allow whatever comes up to come up, right? As you're grieving whatever it is that was missing or was lost, whatever comes up, emotions, sadness, hurt, disappointment, anger, resentment, all of the things, right? They will rise. Allow them to rise. And not so that you can quickly change them and like put a band-aid of positivity, but just to allow yourself the permission to do, you know what? To do the thing of sitting with it and being like, okay, I didn't have this, or I lost this. I've been missing this, and I feel sad about it. That admission, that recognition is your validation that it's okay to feel that. It's your validation and your admission that it's okay to feel this as a result of that, to validate your humanity and your ability to feel. It's okay. And just to say, yeah, this is the thing. This is the thing. And to express it in how you need to. Some people need to scream into a pillow. Some people need to bawl their eyes out. Some people need to, I don't know, dance, move as a result. However you need to express it, allow yourself to feel it and express it that way. But also then moving on to that place where you recognize that even in spite of this, even in spite of the loss, even in spite of what's missing, you can still create the life that you want to. Remember, because you're whole, and you're still deserving, and you're still worthy. You can create the life that you want to. You can become the woman and be the woman that you want to, in spite of this loss and in spite of what's missing. You can. And I also feel what's really beneficial is having a sense of closure. Now, often people think that that closure means that I need to go and speak to that person. I need to tell them what, especially in relation to your mother or your parent or whoever that didn't give you love. No, babes. No, you don't need to do that. Closure doesn't lie in the hand of someone else. Closure lies within you. So creating a sense of closure. Now, one of my favorite methods of closure is to actually write a letter. Excuse me, to write a letter either to my younger self, the one who needed that, the one who yearned for that, the one who craved that, or to write a letter to the person I didn't get it from, or even write to the letter to the person that I lost. Now, this letter can be whatever. It can be a letter of love. It can be a letter of ranting. It can be a letter of release. Whatever you decide that you need in order to create that sense of closure within yourself, that's a really powerful way to wrap it all up and admit, again, validate, admit, recognize all of the things, we're putting it all there, and to release. Now, does this mean that any of these things will mean that you're not going to miss it? You're not going to cry? You're not going to have waves of grief hit you? Of course you are, because you're human and you feel and you have emotions. You're not a plank of wood, yo, You will feel the things and the things will come up. And you can accept that as being part of the journey of grief, part of the waves of grief that you'll be riding. There is no expiry date. There is no time that it has to end. You need to get over it. Stop it now. Why are you dragging it on? No. Honor yourself by honoring how you feel. And it's sometimes it's even enough for you to say, I'm grieving this right now. Oh, here's another wave of grief. Here's another wave of grief. And just admitting that sometimes that is enough.